Hola, hola, everyone. Happy New Year. I hope everyone enjoyed the 31st and whether you stayed in or went out, and that you were safe and that 2026 be a prosperous year for you all. This is episode 11, and today I'm going to be working on these two frames. So I've been kind of brainstorming to see what I want to do. I pulled out this flower that I did quite a while ago before I started recording videos. Um, it was just an extra. I had some extra resin, and so I poured it. I figured I can use it in another piece at some point. So I thought about putting the flower here and then maybe doing a little poem of some sort, maybe like a mom poem, um, and put it over here to the side. So that will be that piece. And then this piece, I pulled out some of these extra um, shells and starfish to kind of do an maybe not an under the sea theme, but more of like a beach ocean theme. Um, and these are from a matte mold. They're actually from a fondant mold that I bought quite some time ago at Michael's. And whenever I have some extra white resin, I pour into that mold to create those pieces and use them as embellishments in other pieces. So that's what I'll be working on today. I'm going to go ahead and mix about, I think, maybe 200 milliliters. That might be too much, so, but we'll see. Because I'm going to do clear in the center here first on each of them, let that cure, and then I'm going to do, well, while that cures, I'm going to also put a color here on the edge. So we'll see how that goes, because I'm going to have to be very careful not to get the clear in here or the color in the center. So I might have to pull out some syringes so that I don't over pour. So yeah, so let's get started. Okay, I've mixed about 200 milliliters of resin. So I'm going to separate into a few different cups and mix the colors. I don't think I'm gonna put anything through the vacuum chamber today because I'm gonna be mixing such a small amount that the bubbles should come out. Plus, the mold is not very deep. It's pretty shallow. So we'll test it out and see how that works. So I chose the Rolio Cantaloupe Orange to outline, actually not to outline, but to do the stands and the back of the frame behind the flower. And then I chose the Shimmer Gold from Chengtiji to do the edge around the flower here. So let's see how that goes. Let's get a little alcohol in there. Okay. So we'll start off with, we'll do 80 milliliters for the stands. And I might have a slight variation in color, but that's okay. I noticed that as long as I kind of proportion it about the same. Okay, so that's mixed. We'll do 40 for the outline. Okay, so that's for the rectangular frame. Now for the oval, I'm gonna put clear with sand around the edge here. So I'm gonna do another 40. And put some sand in there. And normally I would use glue so the sand suspends, but because this is going to be a flat piece, I'm not concerned about it. And I probably should have put the sand in there before pouring the resin. I'm sorry, guys. I just forget all the time. I'm just so used to putting in my colors afterwards. So if you see me do this, I know y'all have commented that it's better to, or it's more helpful to put the colors or mix-ins first. So not that I'm not listening to you all, but I just forget from time to time. So feel free to call me out in the comments and let me know I forgot. um, the good thing is I don't need to spray this with alcohol. Just want to mix that in. And see, that's a little clear, so I'm going to add some more sand. So I want it to be completely opaque. And this sand I got at Hobby Lobby, so I'll link it below. I believe I got it at Hobby Lobby, yeah. Some of the stuff that I do have, I've had for a while, so if I don't link something, it's not because I don't want to share, it's just because I either got it at a store or I got it at the dollar store. What I can start doing is letting you know, like if I got it at a dollar store, then, you know, y'all can go ahead and look. And I think that's better. Yep. Okay. So now I have about 50 left. So I think I'm gonna leave this 50 for the center part. And I'll have to mix up some more to do the stand for, actually maybe I'll do the stand when I do the back coat for the oval frame. So let's go ahead and clean this out. I already had cleaned it. I think it might be on the bottom part, but I just want to be safe. Yeah, it's the bottom part. And I got a little bit of mica powder in there, so I'm going to wipe that off with some alcohol. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and spray to make sure y'all can see everything in the camera. Okay. Let's pour. All right. So that looks good. That took about 20. So that tells me how much I need for the other, about how much I need for the other piece. This clear has debubbled on its own. And again, it's such a thin layer that I don't need to, I mean, I guess I could run it through the vacuum chamber, but frankly, I just don't feel like I need to. All right. What I will do is use my heat gun. Okay, and I see I've got this little speck here of whatever that is. And I'm definitely going to let this sit before I put this on the heat mat as well, because it's such a thin mold. I don't want it to spill when I transfer it over there. Normally by the time I transfer stuff anyways, it's already starting to gel up, so it should be fine. But that's a good point, like settling point for stuff to get moved. Okay. So now let's pour. Base. Dome it a little bit. So that was about 30. And that was another 30. So I'm gonna dome this just a little bit more. Okay, so that's definitely too much that I have for the edge of the oval one with the sand, but that's fine because I can pour something else. So let's switch places, move this out of the way. Okay, here we go. Okay, so that's that. Let's pour out the rest of this clear. Let's see. This is about 25 or 30. Let's see if that's enough. It's actually worked out that this is not too much in here because I want to make sure that my seashells and starfish don't protrude from the back. Let's see if I can scrape out just a little bit more. Every drop of resin is precious. Okay. So that's that. I'm gonna wait to pour the stand. Yep, I'll wait to pour the stand. So let me heat gun the clear. And I'm going to take my dotting tool, if I can find it, and go around the edges here. Pop those bubbles or dislodge them. Okay. And spritz. Okay. I see a bubble here. Okay. I've got one stubborn bubble right here. There we go. Okay, so that takes care of those. So now I'm going to find something else to pour with this extra. I think I will do round coaster. Okay. This mold, good. I'm just gonna put you all on pause for a moment while I clean this mold. Okay. So I'm gonna do probably the same idea as the frame. Not that that will work very well. Actually, I just got an idea for this. So prop it up with this guy here. There we go. So I'll move this over. And I still have some colored resin left over. So let me pull out, oh, let's pull out another coaster. I'll do a hexagon this time. And clean this really quickly. I touched it with my fingers. Okay. Let's go around the edge with this. And I'll clean my stick here. And the bubbles have lifted out nicely from the frames. I'm looking over at them on the side of my desk here, so that's great. Okay, so that's that. And we'll pour the rest of this. This is thickened up on me already, but it's still working, so I'll take it. All right. And let's go ahead and spread this so that it meets there. Take the heat gun to it. Okay, that's nice and blended now. Spritz that with alcohol. Spritzing my coaster with the sand with alcohol. All right, that takes care of that. I'm gonna let everything sit for a while before I put it on the heat mat, and then we'll be back to put the pieces into the frames. Okay, so it is time to put the flower on, placing it upside down and pushing it into the clear resin. Hopefully I don't get any bubbles under there. Okay, so I have the little blurb that I'm putting next to the flower. I decided to go with something that says, "A mother is like a flower, each one beautiful and unique." So I'm gonna go ahead and I've cut this out with my Cricut machine and transferred it onto some acetate. So if anyone is interested in seeing that process, let me know in the comments. I mean, this isn't a Cricut channel, so that's why I didn't go into detail on showing you how to find everything, you know, from cutting to transferring. But if you're interested, let me know and I can do another video where I show the full process. So I'm just going to go ahead and lay it down here, starting on the top, gently pushing down so I don't get any bubbles. And I think that's going to look nice. No bubbles formed. I'm just going to go around the edges just to be safe. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and place this on the heat mat. Okay, so now I'm placing my beach items into this frame here. Just going to arrange them in such a way that I feel looks nice. All right, now that I've set these on, I'm going to go ahead and place this aside, and then I'll be back to do the next layer. So as I'm looking at this piece, I'm already not pleased. I tried using the starfish, and it since it's not a flat surface, it's not level. So I decided to go with these shells, but these two are a little bit of a different color. I think I'm going to risk removing these and putting a different shell in there that's a little bit flatter. And luckily it's still not fully cured. And I'm doing this at the risk of completely ruining this piece, but I just don't know how to leave stuff alone. And that's something that y'all will get to know with me. And of course, I want to be as authentic and real as possible with all of you, so I don't want to hide what I'm doing off camera. So I'm gonna go ahead with the heat gun just to kind of loosen that up. Okay, so that worked. So I've got this piece here. I'm gonna go in with my heat gun around the edges just to pop those bubbles that just formed. And now I have this mermaid mix recollections. I got this at Michael's because I didn't want the outer part to be so plain. So sprinkled some of that. Grab my tweezers. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and put this on the heat mat, and then I'll be back to do the next layer on the two pieces. All right, I'm back. It's time to mix some colors to pour the next layer. So I pulled out, again, the Cantaloupe Orange from Rolio, the Rolio Pastel Collection, or the Pastel Set. And I have this doesn't have a name, but it came in a set that I got at Michael's. I think it's by Craftsmart. I'm not quite sure. So I don't know the name of this, but I will link the set that I got in the description box. So I mixed 200 milliliters. I think I'm going to use these 2 cups to do 100 and 100. See. And of course, I forgot to put the mica powder in the cup. My goodness. I always forget that. I wish that y'all could scream at me through the camera and say, Alex, put the mica powders in first. I'm gonna have to say that to myself going forward. So let's see. I'm just going to do it this way. There we go. Now this one for sure I'll remember to put on the bottom. Now I'm going to be honest with you all. I don't know if the frame with the flower and the little mom saying is going to turn out great. I think I might have to sand it and do a top coat once I demold. But we shall see. We shall see. And I mixed 100 of this color because I've got to pour the rest of that frame plus a little bit more on that coaster, the hexagon coaster that I poured on the back. And then if I have leftover, then I can pour another bonus piece for you. Okay, so that's that. And let's see, let's do, just wipe off my stick here. Two, let's try 3. That's a pretty blue. I wish it had a name, but now again, I'm not going to bubble these in the vacuum chamber because the molds are so shallow that there's plenty of time for the bubbles to come up. So, plus I'm not going to put them on the heat mat right away either, so that should help. So far, so good. I mean, considering I changed completely what I was doing to the oval frame. Okay, so that one is done. And I'm gonna take the rest of this and pour it in here. Okay. Hopefully my idea for this works out. Let's get some of those bubbles dislodged. Okay. And I'll let that sit. I'll let that sit over to the side. Okay, so now let's pour the back of this frame here. And I matched the color pretty good, so that's not too bad. I was worried about that. And that took 100 milliliters, so I'm wondering if I'm gonna have to mix up some more. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna move that to the side. And I'm gonna have to pour more for that coaster, or mix more and pour more for the coaster, but that's okay. I'm gonna have to do more for this one too. So these turned into bigger projects than I expected, but that's okay. Okay. And I think I'm only gonna have enough for one of these. I'm gonna mix some more resin, and so I'll be right back. I'm back and I have a funny story to tell you guys. So I was recording pouring into the other piece of the mold, the remaining stand. So I recorded pouring the rest of the resin into the rest of the mold, only to realize that my camera was facing the ceiling. So I obviously am not going to include that part in the video, or obviously you'll see that that part's not included in the video. So, but I've already placed the pieces on the heat mat. So the last piece that I'm going to finish is this coaster. I pulled out my Chang Chi blue-green. So I'm going to do a back coat of that. And since I only mixed 60 milliliters, I'm not going to transfer this into a different cup. So I'm just going to put the mica powder straight into the resin. I know I'm probably going to make a couple of you cringe. we shall cringe together. I still can't get over how I pushed the wrong button and recorded the ceiling. So I think that was quite hilarious. And at the same time disappointing because I couldn't use that clip for the video. You hear me talking and explaining everything that I'm doing, but oh well, things happen. All right. Let's go ahead and pour the rest of this. It looks like I guesstimated that perfectly. All right. So I'm going to let this sit for a little while, place it on the heat mat, and then I will see you all at demold. It is time to demold, and everyone, I am excited but also concerned about this piece here. I have a feeling that I pushed the acetate a little too much into the clear resin, so I don't know what to expect. So let's start with the coasters. This one's just going to be a plain coaster. That came out nice. Just have to trim the edges there. So yeah, very nice. Nice and simple. This one I'm excited about because I did the half with the sand and the upper half with clear and put the sun decal to resemble a sunset. So let's see how that turned out. That looks nice. Not really happy with this section here. I should have probably turned the sun, but overall, I think it came out cute. I think it came out really cute. I like how the blue really like brings out the sun. So maybe I'll try that again. Okay, let's do this one here. That's the first piece. Let's make sure these fit, and they fit perfect. That's great. That came out nice. Much better than I expected, considering that I changed my mind halfway through. No bubbles. Just a little trim back here. And even then, yeah, just a couple of trims. So this will look like this. I like it. I like it a lot. I don't know. I think it goes like this. Yeah. So I like it. So that came out good. All right, let's try this one now. Okay. All right, everyone. Let's see. Yeah. So I got a couple bubbles on my flower, and I pushed the acetate too much into the resin, so it has kind of like a lifted effect. So I'm not entirely happy with this piece. I think I'll keep it for myself, or I might list it as a goof, but yeah, no, I'm not happy with this piece. I think I'll just keep it for myself. But I will try it again. I will try it again off camera and maybe post an update for you all to see how it goes again, because I really like the idea of the flower with the saying, and I think the gold on top of the orange too kind of drowns out. So maybe I'll try white letters next time. So that's that. I mean, you can't win them all, but yeah, nonetheless, I like these molds, so I am going to try this rectangle one more time. But yeah, so that is everything for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you again for watching. If you're new to my channel and you made it this far, thank you again for tuning in. I hope you subscribe, and I will see you again on Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern. Bye.